as a vehicle to make passive recurring income and build a multi-million pound property investment portfolio. So the bank are willing to take that risk to lend you that money. So you can see now from 400,000 to 484,000 pounds. You've got 10, 15 properties and you are now a property millionaire. Hey guys, it's Rahim. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button because I talk about property investment, personal development and how to gain financial freedom. But before we get to the video, I've got a favor I'd like you to do for me. We've done a little research. We've realized 51% of the people that are watching my YouTube channel have not smashed that subscribe button. If you're one of those, I'd ask you to kindly hit that subscribe button and like the video because that's what helps YouTube push the videos out to wider audience, and the algorithm also like that. That means that way they will share our videos to lots and lots of more people, and also it helps me motivate me and encourage me to actually do more of these videos for you. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how I use debt to become rich in real estate, how I use debt to become a property millionaire. So if you'd like to know how you can leverage and use debt to become a property millionaire and property millionaire, this video is for you. So let's get into the board. Now, suppose we've got money to invest. The number one thing about property basically is what I call leverage. Leverage is when you can use people's money in order to build your property portfolio. Okay, very easy to do that if you know what you're doing. So I'm going to share with you, give an idea of what you could do, okay, to make that happen for you, because that's what I've been able to do to build a multi-million pound property portfolio. And I was also able to use the same strategy to help professionals like yourself or people like yourself to use property as a vehicle to make passive recurring income and build a multi-million pound property investment portfolio. So leverage is the one that gives you the opportunity to buy properties without using all your own money, by using OPM, what we call other people's money, and you need to be very, very good in doing that. The first person you want to leverage is your bank. Your bank is the first person you want to go to, because the reason why you want to go to your bank is because the bank are prepared to lend you more money than your family and friends, than any other investors probably out there. So suppose then we went out there, we know what we're doing, we're looking for £100,000 properties. Suppose we even got 100,000. Let's just say we haven't got even £100,000. Let's say we have £100,000 to invest. But because now you watch this video, you're not going to use that £100,000 to go and buy yourself one house. So what you want to do, we're going to go and look for a property, perhaps property that worth £100,000. So we're going to look for a property that worth £100,000. Okay. So once we've got this property that worth £100,000, okay, we like the property, we negotiate, we agree on that price. So what we do at that point, we're going to approach other people. In this case, it's going to be the bank. We can approach the bank and say, hey, Mr. Bank, I've got a property. I want to buy it worth £100,000. I would like you to lend me 75% of the £100,000 in order to buy the house. Some of you may be thinking, this is crazy. How can they lend you 75%? Yes, in the UK, they can lend you up to 75% to buy your property investment. So what the bank will do at that point, they said, okay, fine, not a problem. We can go and revalue this property and see if it's worth £100,000. So what would happen at that point? The bank will send a valuation officer, and that valuation officer will come around, value your property, okay, value your property, right, for £100,000. Okay, so once he's valued that property for £100,000, he will then go back to the bank and say, look, bank, that gentleman is right, the property worth £100,000. So what would happen at that point, right? If you've done your things right and your mortgage broker knows what they're doing, the bank will lend you 75% of the £100,000. So 75% of the £100,000 would be £75,000. Okay, this £75,000 is what the bank will lend. You can see how massive leverage that is, right? 75%, literally 75%, the bank will lend you to buy that property. So what happened at that point, because you know what you're doing at that point, you would have instructed your solicitor. Solicitor is doing all your legal stuff. They've researched the property. They're making sure you're buying the right property and you're buying it from the actual owner, not a dodgy owner. And then everything is going fine. So what the bank do now, they pay that £75,000 to your solicitor's account. Okay, they pay that to your solicitor's account. So what your solicitor will do at that point, and they will ask you, look, now we're about to complete this deal. We'd like you to pay your 25%. How amazing. right? Taking over £100,000 property, and the bank is lending you £75,000, and you only put in £25,000. You can say, yes, I'm happy to do that, of course. Then you can then put your 25% down. Okay? Once you put your 25% down, guess what? That then completes the £100,000. Okay? The £100,000, then the completion happened, they hand the keys over to you, and you got yourself a £100,000 property. You got yourself there a £100,000 property. Okay, so because you already have £100,000 to invest, so what you do then, you divide another £125,000 to go and buy another £100,000 property. Then you got your property too. Okay, and then use another £25,000, and then at that point you have property number 3, and use another £25,000, and that then gives you property number 4. Can you see how this is making sense? So the same £100,000 can buy you 4 houses instead of buying 1 house. That's what we call leverage. That's one of the ways I was able to build my property portfolio, to buy lots and lots and lots of more houses. You may be thinking, will the bank allow you 75%? In most instances, if you know what you're doing, you know where to get these properties, and they can generate the cash flow the bank is asking for, they will surely lend you the 75% for each of the properties. And now that's what I call smart way of investing, right? And by the way, property is one of the only vehicle that the bank will lend you money to buy. If you want to buy gold, the bank will say, hey, you go get your money for yourself. If you want to buy stock and shares, the bank will say, we're not going to lend you money on this, you go on your own. If you want to buy crypto, the same thing, the bank will not lend you. Okay, the only asset class, one of the only asset class bank can lend you and you can leverage drastically is real estate, properties. The bank are willing to take that risk to lend you that money. Okay, that's one of the beauty of having properties. And also, if suppose you don't even want to put your deposit down, you can go and raise this from family and friends, people that you know. They can lend you the money. As long as you said to them, I'm buying house, everybody knows house are things that everybody needs. Okay, maybe you're watching this video now in your house. That house, you may have rented that house, or you may have bought it. So it's a house people want to live in, right? That's one of the basic needs. So hence the reason why it's a massive way to make money through real estate that would ultimately get you to become a property millionaire and ultimately a millionaire. Some of you may be thinking right now, whoa, I don't want to get debt. Debt is so expensive. I hear you. Yes, you're taking this debt. I'm going to walk you through a process also how you can get that debt paid for without using your own money either. So let's now talk about debt, because one of the other things also that people are really worried about is what I just said, debt. There are 2 types of debt. We have good debt and a bad debt. Okay, taking a debt to buy properties here is what I call good debt. The reason why it is a good debt is because the properties that you're buying is doing 2 things. Number 1, you're going to be renting them. You're going to be making money out of those properties in order for you to pay for your debt. And you get some change left over, maybe £300 or £400, whatever that may be for you. And the second thing also why it is a good debt is because property prices goes up in value in the UK. It goes up in value between 8 to 15% in average a year. So you're making money by renting it, and you're also making money by capital appreciation. In contrast, bad debt is anything you buy that doesn't bring you residual income. It doesn't bring you money and it doesn't go up in value, i.e. it is a liability. You may disagree with me on this, like your house that you own. So if you're living in your house right now and you're not renting it, you bought it and it is a mortgage property, that property is a liability to you. Why it is a liability? It's because it's not bringing you money, right? You are feeding the money into it, right? Whether you're there, you're not there, you'd have to pay your mortgage. So that is liability for you. But the bank or the financiers get us to get confused to say it is a asset, right? It is an asset in the bank's financial statement, okay? But in your case, it's a liability. But they make you to believe that it's an asset. It only becomes an asset if it is making you money. Okay, if that property is making you money. Okay, let's take another example. This is another example. Maybe a bad debt. By the way, buying your property is not a bad debt. As long as you're living in it, capital appreciation is coming, but it won't make you money. Okay, a bad debt could be anything that doesn't bring you money. It could be the shirt you bought. It could be the jeans you wear. It could be your trainers. It could be a Porsche. It could be a car you've bought to impress people. It could be on holiday, a debt you take to go on holiday. It could be a debt you take to give gift. It's a debt you take to do something that doesn't bring you passive recurring income, and obviously it goes down in value. See, people spend lots of money buying cars. What they do not know, as soon as they drive off that parking lot, that car itself's value goes down by 10%. So that's what they do. So anything that doesn't bring you recurring income is bad debt. But buying properties like this, investing in your education, is what we call good debt. Taking a debt to buy properties like this, educating yourself, is what we call good debt, because it's adding value to you whilst bringing you passive recurring income. Next, let's talk about the benefit now of using the debt to make you passive recurring income. Suppose now with that 100,000 bought us 4 houses. Okay, let's say we've got 4 houses now. Okay, these 4 houses, let's say we rent each house for £1,100. Okay, but because we borrowed 75% to buy the house, the bank lent us 75%, we're going to pay something that we call interest payment. Let's say the interest payment is £415, and that is very realistic for these sort of houses. Okay, we've got our fees to pay. Our fees that we pay is the management fees for the agencies to manage our properties. We'd have to pay them 10% of that. So 10% of that will be £110. Okay, £110. Let's say our running cost is £200. Okay, so if we take away 415, £110, £200 from the £1,100 we've received from our tenant as rent, we've got a net profit of £375 per month. So we would have made that money. Okay. However, if we did not use leverage with the £100,000 we had, okay, suppose we did not take any debt, we went on, right, and rent our property, we would have only probably made a net profit of £790, because at that point we're not paying the interest rate there. We're not paying any interest in that property because we own the property outright, right? So you would have made £790. Okay, that's your net profit. Okay, because you don't have to incur the interest payment. But the beauty of that, because we're clever, we're buying these houses by using the bank loan. We're able to get 4 houses. So with those 4 houses, if we times that by 4, these properties we would have bought for 25,000, by putting £25,000 down, would have generated us £1,500 per month. So now you can see how leveraging the bank money, knowing how to use debt effectively, can make you serious return on your investment. If you contrast that to 790, if you minus those two, you've got a difference of £710. So in essence, you've made more money here than buying that one single property. And the difference, £710. So that's what you do to make your money work a lot harder, by using the leverage of lending, borrowing other people's money to build your property portfolio. And the beauty of it, as you now know, you're not paying for the debt. Your tenant is paying for the debt. They're paying the £1,100. What you do, you pay for your interest loan, deduct all your expenses. You're making £375 a month. You got 4 houses, times that by 5, times that by 4, you've got your 1,500, instead of making £790 per calendar month. So you're making £1,500, and again, you've got 4 houses. And that will give you a property portfolio of £400,000. So at that point, you've got a property portfolio of £400,000 that would go up in value every few months or so, which is the next benefit of investing in properties and using people's money to build your property portfolio. Now, suppose now we've got that property now. At that current rate, okay, our property portfolio would be £400,000. Okay, £400,000. Right? Fast forward to 2 years. Here one, our property, suppose property price only went up by 10%, just 10%, not 15, not 13%, nothing like that. Let's just say 10%. If your property portfolio goes up by 10%, you would have had a property portfolio of £440,000, right? Your second year, year two, it goes up again by how much? By 10%. It would have gone up by 484,000. Okay, by only 10% here, 10% here, and 10% there. So you can see now from 400,000 to 484,000 pounds. Hello, in 2 years, by only assuming that your property price only went up by 10% a year. So that 400,000 pounds property is now 484,000 pounds. So you've got an equity of 84,000 pounds. Hello. And you can use this 84,000 pounds to go again buy more houses. To go again and buy more houses. By the time you think about it, okay, you've got 10, 15 properties and you are now a property millionaire. Hopefully, if you're doing what you're doing with a portfolio that generates you anywhere between 5,000 to 8,000 pounds a month. And at that point, if you don't like what you're doing, you'll never work for anybody else. You will never work for anybody because you've got 5,000 to 8,000 pounds coming in every single month without you selling the property, still having them, and living the life that you always wanted to live on. And again, if you still love what you're doing, you like the work that you're doing, you can continue working knowing that you don't have to turn up at work because you have passive recurring income. So you can see how you could build your property investment portfolio with little to none of your own money down. These are the steps I use to expedite my property investment portfolio. And if you're using these steps, right, you'll never have to worry for working for someone again. You'll be doing things the time and place you want to do it. I really hope this video has been helpful. If you want to know how you can implement strategies like this, get someone to help you along the way, I would love to invite you to book me for a free strategic call. I've got one of my specialists that will sit with you, walk you through the process on how you can start and scale and grow your property investment portfolio with little time, effort from your part. If you're interested, don't leave it to chance. Click that link somewhere around this video to register yourself to speak to one of our specialists to learn how we can help you grow your property investment portfolio. I look forward to seeing you on the other side.